Hello everyone. Today's joke of the day is, what kind of flowers should you not give on Valentine's Day? Stay tuned to find out. Our learning target for today is, I can find the x and y intercepts from a graph or table of values, and I can interpret the x and y intercepts from a word problem. Okay, so let's review what the x and y intercepts are. Well, the x-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis, okay, or where y equals 0. Okay, and the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis, or where x equals 0. Okay, thinking y-intercept, so where it intersects or intercepts the y-axis. Okay, same thing with the x. Okay, so let's look at this first example here. To find the x-intercept, I'm going to always highlight the x-axis in blue here so that we are clear about that. Okay, I'm highlighting the x-axis in blue. And then I want to know where my graph intersects the x-axis. Well, it's at this point right here, okay, which it looks like at 2. Okay, so now our x and y intercepts are always points, so we need to write them as a point. Okay, well, we know our x value comes first, and our x value is 2, and our y value is 0 at the x-intercept. Okay, so our x-intercept is 2, 0. Now our y-intercept, want to do the highlighter here. Our y-intercept is where our line crosses our y-axis. So that'll be right here and looks like at -2. But our x-coordinate is 0 there. Our y-coordinate is -2. So our y-intercept is 0, -2. Okay, let's look at another example here. In this case, our x-intercept is, again, where our line crosses our our x-axis, okay, and it's right there at, it looks like -3. So our x value is -3, y value is 0. Okay. Same thing with the y-axis. Okay, the y-intercept is going to be where our line crosses the y-axis, which looks like it's at 2. So it's going to be where y equals 2. So x equals 0 there on our y-intercept. So the point 0, 2. Okay, well, now let's look at a table. So let's remember, our y-intercept is where x equals 0, okay? So x equals 0, and that's going to be right here, okay? X equals 0 there. So our y-intercept is going to be the point 0, 8, okay? And our x-intercept is where y equals 0, so it'll be right there at the point 6, 0. Okay, so that's reading it from a table. You just look for, okay, where does x equal 0? That's where our y-intercept is. Where does y equal 0? That's where our x-intercept is. Okay, now we're going to look and find the x and y-intercepts of a graph in a word problem and try and figure out what those things mean in the context of our problem. Okay, so our x-intercept, that's going to be where our line crosses our x-axis. And remember, our x-axis is always the horizontal one. So in this case, our x-intercept is going to be at 14, okay, where x equals 14 and y equals 0. Okay, and what's happening at this point? Well, let's see, we're draining a swimming pool. It's drained at a rate of 720 gallons per hour. The table shows the function relating the volume of water in a pool and the time in hours that the pool has been draining. Okay, so what is actually happening here is that our volume of water has gone down to 0, right? Because that's our x. So it takes 14 hours to completely empty the pool. Okay, so what's happening at this point is the pool is completely empty after 14 hours. Okay, that's the real-world context of what's happening at that x-intercept. Okay, now let's look at the y-intercept. That's on our y-axis here. It looks like the y-intercept is at 10,000. Okay, so y-intercept, x equals 0, y equals 10,000. Okay, and what's happening there is that's the amount of water that we start with, right? So the pool starts. So after 0 hours, okay, after 0 hours, we still have 10,000 gallons. So that's what our pool starts at. Okay. Now let's try looking at a table. So the function shows, or the table shows the function relating the distance to an amusement park in miles, that the time in hours, and the time in hours that the Torres family has driven. Find the x and y intercepts, and then we're going to describe what they mean in context. Okay, so our y-intercept is where our x value equals 0, so that's going to be right there. So our y-intercept, doesn't matter which order you do this in, x or y first, it's going to be 0, 248. Okay, so they start 248 miles away from the amusement park. Okay, because after they've driven for 0 hours, they are 248 miles away from the amusement park. So that is how far away they start. That's their starting point, initial value. Okay, remember when we talked about that with y-intercept? Okay, and then our x-intercept is the time in hours after our y is 0. Okay, so our distance is 0 after 4 hours. So our y-intercept is, or our x-intercept, excuse me, x-intercept is 4, 0. Okay, and so that's going to be, it takes them 4 hours to drive to the amusement park, because after 4 hours, they are 0 miles away from the amusement park. Okay, so you just find either from the graph where you intersect the axes, or in a table where the x is 0, that will be your y-intercept, and where the y is 0, that will be your x-intercept. All right, now for the joke of the day. What kind of flowers should you not give on Valentine's Day? Cauliflowers. Thanks for watching and have a great day.